this one. This came up on our call-in show Friday night, and it was a very good discussion, and we need to extend the discussion to tonight. 2024 expectations. Are we at natty or bust? Denzel Burke flat out came out and said that he thinks it's natty or bust, and some of his counterparts there at Ohio State, they seem to lean that way as well. That's why we came back to right the wrongs, to win a Big Ten, to beat the team up north, and to go after and win a national championship. The talent's there. I believe that. I think Ohio State is one of the top three talented teams in the country, JR, if not the talented. I think them and Georgia are probably the best rosters. Although I think there are some position groups at Oregon that might be better than both Georgia and Ohio State. So I would put them in there as the top three. The question would be coaching staff. Did Ryan Day make enough changes, and will those changes be positive enough on the offensive side to get over the hump, if you will? They're chasing that 2%, he says. Did he do it with this coaching staff? That remains to be seen. But I'll start with you, JR, because you weren't with us Friday night. And in the chat, I want your comments as well. What should be the expectations for this 2024? I have to turn the comments off sometimes, guys, because I can tell already that there was a comment made that got JR going. What should the expectations be for Ohio State in 2024, JR?
Um, I can't read comments from Big Mac Mary. Those have to stay out of my eyes because they're making me laugh too much. No, I think absolutely it's title or
Was it
bust. The
this one?
only yes, that was the one. I would say the only team that Ohio State could lose to that I'm not going to say I would be satisfied. I wouldn't be satisfied, but I would be less upset if they lost to is Georgia, just because they do have the best coach in the country, and I do think that their roster has equal talent to Ohio State. However, there's nobody else in the country that Ohio State should lose to this season. They need to win the national championship.
Okay. Those are pretty high expectations. Larry Daniels' expectations. He says stay healthy, natty or bust, baby. So he's putting asterisks there. Have to stay healthy. And I said that Friday night. Going into the end of the season, let's take a look at the health of this team. If there's a major injury that could change or derail things, then maybe we reset expectations. But caveat is staying healthy. He says natty or bust. Chris, natty or bust? And we don't have Chris.
Muted.
Did you mute yourself?
Hey there, I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, yeah, absolutely, it's a natty or bust situation, guys. Come on, I mean, let's look at this for a second. He got his guy in Chip Kelly. He had all these returning players. You've got a great recruiting class. You've got, you know, I think tremendous skill at a lot of positions. You had the best transfer season of not only anybody this year, but maybe ever, because you really addressed need and you did it in a big, big way. You got the best player in the country in the portal, in Caleb Downs. I mean, there is no excuse for Ryan Day at this point not to win a national title. Yes, I understand there may be injuries, but you know what? You are the freaking Ohio State University. You have more talent. You've got guys riding the bench, 70 and 80 on the bench, that are, able to start at universities in this country. There's no excuses at this point. Yeah, does he lose his job if he doesn't win the national title? No, probably not. If he beats Michigan, if he wins the Big Ten and has a decent playoff run, he's okay. But there's no excuse for not winning the national title. That's simple. He doesn't win it. The season was a failure. And I think we heard Denzel Burke say pretty much just that.
Denzel also put on a lot of expectations on himself.
And I
Like
love that, Eric.
I
I love
came
it.
back to be one of the best defensive corner. I came back to be the best cornerback in the
The
country.
number one quarterback in the country, the Thorpe Award winner, He's putting that on himself,
A
and
top
I
10
think the
NFL
guys are
draft pick.
yeah, the
Yep.
guys are rallying around it too.
You got to have okay, so you have different leaders, right? You have the more quiet lead by example on the field, your Tommy Eichenberg types, right? You have your vocal leaders, the guys who aren't afraid to get in your face. Your oh Cade Stover
Yeah,
types, right? I like my cornerbacks to be a little mouthy. I'm not gonna lie because you're on an island and you have to have extreme confidence in your game, right? When you're a cornerback, you have to have unbelievable belief in your own talent, and I think it just goes with just kind of par for the course that a cornerback's gonna be a little bit more of a talker. If Denzel Burke is kind of the mouthpiece for this team this year, I'm all right with that. Jr., what do you
yeah,
think?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely given himself kind of a leadership role. I think that Jack Sawyer is the leader in my mind on the defense, just the way he was able to kind of, it seems like, bring the guys back and, the hashtag reload the clip and all that stuff. So I think he's kind of the unquestioned leader overall. However, I can see Denzel Burke being that guy that, kind of challenges the team in every moment. And if anybody ever gets complacent or if anybody ever starts sleeping on a team, he's like, the one that gets in their face and really, really, challenges them to be better than who they are. And let's be honest, it can be easy for a team whose, whose standard is title or bust to sleep on a Michigan State who has a new head coach, but could be a little dangerous with, a head coach that Ryan Day has never seen before or somebody else like that, that, they might not be expecting to be a big thing. Ryan Day has never lost to anybody but Michigan in the Big Ten. Um, I, I I don't want to think of that day, but someday that will not be the case. He will lose to somebody else in the Big Ten at some point, and I just hope it's not this year. I hope they can stay the course because they should beat every team in the Big Ten. Yes, even Oregon, who they're going to Oregon, but I I think Oregon's good. I don't think Oregon is on Ohio State's level
You
personally.
don't where would you put them, Jr.? I don't. Do you
I
think
think
they're a
there's a
top?
tier right under Ohio State. I think Ohio State and Georgia are in a tier on their own, and I think that Oregon is in the tier under that with, some of the other teams like Florida State or somebody else who is a conference champion in a different conference. Probably with Alabama next year, they're still going to have a whole lot of talent. Probably with an LSU, somebody else like that.
Okay, all right. So
Very good
and
team, though. I'm not trying to say they're a bad team. Very good team. I just don't think they're on Ohio State's level. That's how much I think of Ohio State this season.
are they better than the team up north this year?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, all right. So then
The
you
team
agree
up
with
north
me.
is starting like
they're a
diet Jalen
JV team
Milrow.
right now.
We're,
Gonna
we're gonna,
start Alex Orgy, who I I know we don't need to get into that, but they're guys, they're not gonna be what they were.
no, they're not. They're falling apart at the seams, dude.
Yes.
They're like, okay, this is a perfect example. I had a really good pair of sweatpants. I loved the pair of like it was the type of sweatpants you never wore them in public, but you wore them around the house and they were great, right? And I came home one day and my puppy had tore them apart at the seams and ruined them. I mean, embarrassing to even wear around the house at this point. That's where this program is at right now. And while they're doing their victory lap, they're like the emperor with no clothes on. Everybody is laughing at them around the world, looking at how bad their program is falling apart, being torn at the seams while they do their victory lap. That's where this program is at up there in Ann Arbor. We will get to them. My goodness, the chat's on fire with Big Mac Mary being my supposable girlfriend who wanted to sit close to me at the Purdue game. She was
Well, I'm going to
actually
switch spots with you, Eric.
yeah, she was actually sitting next to Chris down here. The Paws Up podcast, one of our buddies from down in Florida, down in Ohio, Swag in Ohio. That's right, buddy. Uh, Appreciate you guys jumping on tonight, man. The Four Horsemen. The only thing OSU has to do this year is beat TTUN. If they lose, Day becomes Cooper and the spiral continues. Yes. Chris has wrote an article for another great project we're working on that we will announce here in the future. Um, and that article was about Ryan Day's hot seat. And despite the fact that Ohio State has quote unquote won the offseason, those have just rose the expectations, if you ask me.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
all the guys who came back, the roster has never been better at Ohio State other than maybe 98 or 96. In both those years, what happened?
Well, 2015 too.
I don't think
True.
I don't know.
2015 was, yeah, 2015 was a disaster because of the Michigan State game. So was
Yep.
Yeah.
98, but I digress.
Sorry to bring that up.
So maybe we need to have that game circled. I don't know. Like maybe we need to think about that. But the point I'm getting at is that Ryan Day's expectations went from here, which was you need to make the playoffs, to you need to win the Big Ten and you need to get to the national championship game. Fair?
I still think he needs to win it, but he like I say, he's not going to get fired if he doesn't. But yeah, he's got to get there.
I mean, he's going to get fired if he doesn't beat Michigan, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's be honest.
He might not be. Will he still be able to coach in the playoffs if that were to happen, JR?
Would Ryan Day coach in the playoffs?
Yeah, if he loses to the team up north for the fourth consecutive year, would he get fired before the playoffs started?
I don't. I don't know.
And
Because
have
you
him bring
have
Urban
to.
back just to do the playoffs.
Yeah, you have to. You have to fire a coach before then if you want to do the cycle. Like that's the crazy thing is like all these coaches are going to be getting hired, prior to the playoffs being played, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know. That's a really good question. I feel like personally it would depend on if Ohio State would have their next guy lined up or not. If a Mike Vrabel is going to come, I don't think he is, but if he was going to come, if they would have him lined up, then maybe they hire him and he comes in and he coaches the playoffs, or somebody else like him that would come, before then. I think so, but if not, I feel like you have to let Ryan Day be in the playoffs and just like I don't know. I wouldn't say hope he doesn't win a game, but you know what I mean.
The Big Ten Championship playoffs are going to be a gauntlet, 4 or 5 games against some of the best teams in the country. It will take a run like we have never seen. Yes, Chris, I agree with you, which is why it behooves Ryan Day and this coaching staff to play more players more often during the season to keep this roster fresh and ready for the postseason and so that they're ready for this.
And give them experience so we don't see what we saw with our quarterbacks in the bowl game.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So there is that.